of outcomes for extremely preterm infants based on the big data of 90 NICUs in the Neonatal Research Network of Japan. NRJ is composed of 19 tertiary NICUs in Japan. The population of Japan is 126 million, and there is 870,000 births in a year, with 5,000 very low birth weight infants. This table shows the gestational weeks on x-axis and birth weight on y-axis. Infants less than 1,500 grams registered in the NRJ database in 70 years since 2003. Less than 24 weeks, there were 4,000. There are 4,497 infants in Japan. Since 1996, majority of infants were treated 22 weeks and above were actively cared for at birth. This figure is a summary from 10 national neonatal networks. On the y-axis, the survival rate of very preterm infants born between 2007 and 2013 are shown. And survival rates are compared for each gestational weeks. The top blue line is the survival rate of Japan. Other networks of Sweden, Finland, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, and Israel as shown. This figure compares the long-term trend of survival rate of 22 to 26 weeks of Sweden and Osaka since 1985 until 2016. Solid lines are from Sweden, and the dotted lines are from Osaka, with same colors for each gestational weeks. For 22 weeks, data only from 2004 are available for Sweden, and it is available from 1985 from Japan, from Osaka, Japan. The gestation-specific survival curves of both countries are very comparable, with Osaka lines are a bit superior than Sweden. Both countries show steady improvement. For me, it looks as if the two countries made similar achievements in neonatal care without close communication with each other. This figure shows the annual trend of mortality for 22, 23, 24, and 5 weeks since 2005 to 2019 NRMJ. In 17 years, the mortality reduced 50% for each gestation, and this means the mortality advanced in rank of 1 week in 17 years. The decelerating trend slowed down since 2010 in 22 and 23 weeks, slowed down and flattened. Taking the mortality as a dependent variable. Various perinatal factors were analyzed during using logistic regression. Factors more than 25, AFT, upcast between 7 and 10, female, inborn, vaginal bone have assigned as odds 1. From the top, the factors of large odds are shown: congenital malformation, 22 weeks, NEC, pulmonary hemorrhage, upcast between 0 to 23 weeks, PPHM, sepsis, SFT, 24 weeks, upcast 5, 4 to between 4 and 6, interpatient birth, neonatal seizure, intraventricular hemorrhage, hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. Those are the factors with significant odds ratio with mortality. Now, neurodevelopmental outcomes are important endpoint of preterm birth. This slide shows the rate of death and neurodevelopmental impairment, NDI, of NICHD United States and NRJ Japan. For 22 weeks, the mortality was above 70 for NICHD and just over 60% for NRLJ. Survival with severe NDI here is just below 10% in NICHD, whereas it was above 10% in Japan, NRNJ. Survival with moderate NDI, survival with no or mild NDI is here, are very comparable from NICHD and NRNJ. It is possible that contemporary neonatal intensive care produce comparable neurodevelopmental outcomes in tertiary centers in different countries. This slide shows annual trend of cerebral palsy, gestation, and PVL, periventricular leukomalacia. Cerebral palsy decreases from 6 to 1% in 17 years. PVL also significantly decreased 1%, well, no change in 24 weeks during the same period. This slide shows S and CP at 3 years analyzed with various perinatal factors, and both death and the CP The logistic regression analysis disclosed that pulmonary hemorrhage is the second largest odds for both endpoints. You could see various factors comparing as a correlation with deaths and CP in these. Pulmonary hemorrhage seem important, and the rate of pulmonary hemorrhage significantly decreased with the proportion of prophylactic low-dose indomethacin. This is the group of indomethacin group and no indomethacin group with pulmonary hemorrhage. Black is no RDS, so majority had RDS with pulmonary hemorrhage. In a randomized controlled trial of intravenous indomethacin for the prevention of IVH by Neonatal Research Network of Japan was carried out, and pulmonary hemorrhage in placebo decreased significantly in a group with indomethacin group. PVM significantly decreased from 24, 25, 26, and 27 weeks was significant in this period. PVL significantly correlated with pulmonary hemorrhage. This is the result of NRG database. Pulmonary hemorrhage significantly reduced here in 23, 22, 23, 24, 25 weeks compared to no indomethacin or indomethacin group for PDA. So
this meeting is being recorded. Meeting is being recorded. Meeting is being recorded.
So for PVL, the odds ratio of pulmonary hemorrhage was 1.66, and pulmonary prophylactic indomethacin was 4.82. So in conclusion, prophylactic indomethacin is effective to prevent pulmonary hemorrhage and PVL. Let me introduce the classification of chronic lung disease currently in use in Japan. The definition of CLD is oxygen therapy for more than 28 days. CLD are subdivided to 6 types according to the presence of RDS and signs of intrauterine inflammation with high serum IgM within 72 hours, chorioamnionitis or phenicitis, and with or without ugly cystic chest X-ray more than 28 days. Chest X-ray of a typical case of type 3, illustrated here. The bubbles are diffused throughout the entire lung field And the appearance is quite different from interstitial emphysema. Interstitial air leak in the brain and CT findings. These are different from interstitial air leak. In CLD type 3, hot rate at discharge was 31% and significantly larger to other CLDs. These are man-witness test. And hot of BPD 36 was 24%. Hot rate at 3 years was 8% in CLD type 3, whereas it was 6% in BPD 36. BPD 36. I'm sorry, we have studied the bronchial asthma and recurrent URI, upper respiratory infection of 3 years in relation with types of CLD, and found that bronchial asthma significantly correlated with CLD type 1, 2, 3. They were characterized with bubbly cystic chest X-ray in the neonatal period. BPD 36 weeks show no correlation with asthma. Recurrent URI significantly correlated with less than 24 weeks, BPD 36 weeks, and CLD type 1, 3, 4. We have concluded that infants with CLD with bubbly cystic chest X-ray are significantly associated with prolonged home oxygen therapy at discharge, and at 3 years, they are also significantly associated with bronchial asthma and recurrent URI at 3 years. So those are our experience analyzed after analysis of NRJ. So in summary, trends of outcomes for infants, 24 weeks in Japan between 2003 and 2016 was first in 17 years. The mortality reduced 50% for each gestation, 22 to 25 weeks. They caught up 1 week in 17 years. It is possible that contemporary neonatal intensive care produce comparable neurodevelopmental outcomes in tertiary centers in different countries. Cerebral palsy decreased from 6 to 1% in 17 years. Striking. PVR also significantly decreased 1%. Pulmonary hemorrhage is the second largest cause both for death and for cerebral palsy, and is closely correlated with RDS. The rate of pulmonary hemorrhage significantly decreased with the prophylactic low-dose indomethacin. So we found this is a very important strategy for prognosis of very preterm infants. PVR significantly correlated with pH. Prophylactic indomethacin is effective to prevent pH and PVR. Now, on the chronic lung disease in type 3, this is equivalent with Wilson-Micketti syndrome. Home oxygen therapy rate at discharge was 31%. And significantly larger than other CLDs. Infants with CLD with bubbly cystic chest X-ray was significantly associated with prolonged oxygen therapy at discharge and 3 years. They are also significantly associated with bronchial asthma and recurrent URI 3 years. Thank you for your attention.